This map, drafted by U.S. President Woodrow Wilson, illustrates the proposed division of the Eastern Ottoman territories following the First World War. Victorious Western powers were actively carving the remnants of the 600-year-old empire into controlled zones. A resistance movement emerged from this collapse. For 4 years, these forces waged a brutal war of independence to prevent their disappearance from the map. Following their military victory, the new leadership faced a choice. They could have gathered their remaining strength to reclaim the vast imperial territories lost in the war. Instead, Mustafa Kemal Atatürk and his founding cadre chose to ensure the state's survival through a different method. They abandoned imperial claims and deliberately restricted the nation's borders. The founders utilized traditional imperial diplomatic maneuvers to systematically dismantle the imperial identity, replacing it with a compact, modern nation-state. Geographically, the new republic occupied a vulnerable crossroads. It remained a middle power, positioned between the competing interests of Europe, Russia, and the Middle East. To navigate this environment, the government relied on an inherited human resource. They utilized the Harichiye, a deeply experienced diplomatic corps, trained by the very empire they were replacing. These diplomats employed a balance of power tactic throughout the 1920s. By playing the Soviet Union against Western interests, they secured a degree of relative autonomy for the fragile state. This reliance on the seasoned Ottoman diplomatic playbook provided the geopolitical breathing room necessary for the republic to survive its early years. While the personnel remained the same, the objective changed. The republic abandoned the goal of preserving a multi-ethnic empire, focusing entirely on internal modernization and westernization. This internal focus required rejecting external expansion. The National Pact established pragmatic borders, locking the nation into a fixed, defensible territory. This policy, peace at home, peace in the world, meant a final rejection of pan-Islamism and pan-Turanism. For radical internal reforms to succeed, the government viewed absolute external stability as a mandatory prerequisite. This calculated withdrawal allowed the republic to concentrate its resources and homogenize its population into a cohesive state foundation. This restraint stood out in the 1930s. As revisionist European powers aggressively expanded and violated treaties, Turkey remained committed to its established borders. While the world moved towards another global conflict, Turkey used multilateral diplomacy to resolve its remaining territorial and sovereign concerns. In 1936, the Montreux Convention demonstrated the effectiveness of this approach. Through negotiation, Turkey legally regained full sovereign control over the strategic straits. Later, Turkey secured the annexation of Hatay. They leveraged the West's desire for stability in the face of a looming war to force a favorable diplomatic settlement. Turkey successfully improved its security and expanded its influence exclusively through legal frameworks and strategic leverage. The Ataturk era succeeded where the Ottoman Empire failed by recognizing that national strength is built through identifying clear limits and mastering strategic restraint.